So here we are again with another behind the scenes. Today we're at Olivia and Robbie's wedding at Eastington Park. We're going to go to bridal prep now, and then we're going to be bouncing between bridal prep and groom prep this morning, so it's going to be quite busy. But we're going to take you along with me. Same setup as before, A7S3 with the 55mm on is going to be my main setup. And then for speeches and ceremony we're going to be bringing out 2 other cameras, which I'll talk through at that time. But let's go to bridal prep. Just shooting high and just missing out all those cars, just getting a bit of the top. The groom's about to come in this room, so I'm going to just get all the curtains open now. So the light is already in here and not have to mess about when they come in. Yeah, all the artificial lights turned off and as much natural light in the room as possible. Okay, so I'm set up on my camera. I'm in autofocus majority of the day. I put my spot set on medium size, and I use my joystick to put it where I want, but I've got it set so if I hold it in, it actually toggles to manual. So if I've locked on a shot, I can then turn it to manual, so if someone steps in front of the frame, it's not gonna shoot off for them. But most part, I just rely on the autofocus of the A7S3. It's so good that I know it's just gonna lock on people, especially things like coming down the aisle. It's gonna track the eye of the bride coming down. So yeah, autofocus, white balance. I changed earlier on in the shots I did upstairs because the light was so varied in the different parts of the room. I was on auto white balance, but generally I like to shoot at around 6,200 Kelvin. I like things to be quite warm, so I've started keeping it in like 6,200. But often in prep where there's not much natural light, that's when I need to change things up. But other than that, I've got it set so on my back of my camera, this dial does ISO, so that's usually between that and shutter is how I'm changing my exposure. I don't use NDs, I just rely on cranking the shutter. I think just the faff of having to take them on and off on a wedding day, I don't want that, so I'd rather crank the shutter. I don't see a massive drop in the quality. I want to be fast to respond to what's going in front of me and not worrying about the settings too much, or worrying about things like taking filters on and off. So quick run and gun style videography. So we filmed the start of bridal prep. The bride's now moved from that room and she's going over to the main house, and the groom has now come to that room to get ready. But he's not quite good to go yet. He's going to have a shower in a bit. So rather than just hang around, we're going to go up to the main house, maybe scout out the ceremony spot just so I know what I'm working with, get some little bits of B-roll before going back to the groom. It's going to be like a very tight morning of bouncing between the 2 of them. So I'm just conscious that I'm making most of my time at every moment really. Okay, yeah, so this is the ceremony space. Until the chairs are laid out, I'm not 100% sure how it's going to be set up. Surely this is the aisle that she's going to be walking down, but it's kind of off centre from the entrance. So once the chairs are out, I've got my cameras hidden up in the corner ready so I can grab them when I need be. I'm imagining I'll put a wide over there, getting a whole shot of this entire area. Then I'll be on my monopod, perhaps tucked in inside the gazebo. But yeah, we'll see what the chairs are doing and see what the layout is and then make a decision at the last minute. So here I am getting some establishing shots of the venue. I do this for any of the buildings that we're at during the day, just so I can give some context to where we're moving to throughout the film. Right, yeah, so we'll go up to the girls for a little bit, get some detail shots of the dress. I think she's got a bit of a flat lay laid out, so we'll capture that, and then we'll head over to the boys. I'm out of breath from just holding my breath during the shots. Like. Cool. So I'm going to turn that around, right? So first thing, get the lights off. Lovely. this around. The main focus of the wedding day is always going to be the people for me, but I do like to take that little bit of time just to get these detailed shots of anything that I think is important for them and the couple are going to want to remember looking back on the film. I always make sure to move any objects that are causing a distraction to my compositions. These slight adjustments can really improve the quality of your final shot. If the bride and groom have children that are at the wedding, I'll make sure that I get as much footage of them as possible, because you never know throughout the day when they are likely to be around, because quite often young children go off for a nap and miss big sections of the day. So whenever you get a chance to get some nice shots, I always make sure I do. Yeah. Can I bring you over by this window, mate? Is that all right? Stick your, I reckon if you move that way, Steve, and then we'll get, yeah. Yeah. Being a solo shooter, I usually have limited time with the grooms in the morning, so I find the best way to get as much good footage as quickly as possible is to kind of orchestrate it a little bit. I tell them to put their shirts and trousers on, and then we choose a nice spot in the room that's quite clean with good background and good light, and get them to do their finishing touches of their suit there. I knew this moment of the groom Robbie helping his son get dressed would be perfect for the film, so I'm making sure that I get lots of variety of angles so I can piece together those sequences for the final edit. So it's holding my shot for a short amount of time, then changing position, changing angle, and getting a different perspective so they piece together quite nicely in the edit. For this moment of Robbie's mum seeing him for the first time in this suit, I really wanted to get two angles. So the way around it is to hold this shot for as long as possible. Then once I feel like I've got it, moving to the back to get the reverse shot so I can cut between the two in the edit. That's something as a solo shooter you always have to consider. How can I get multiple angles of a single moment? And what angles would really complement each other in the edit? Shooting 50 frames a second really helps with this, because even though this moment of this reverse angle of Robbie and his mum was quite quick, I know I can slow it down in the edit and it should be perfect for what I need. Robbie, can I get one shot of you real quick over here? I just want you, if I can move this down, if I get you to stand here and kind of do this with your jacket so you're putting it on. Okay. I'll move this light so it's out of your way. So if you, yeah, stand back here, facing towards there.
Maybe in 1 second, so it's okay. I've got a bit of help.
Ah, you're alright. Yeah. Okay. So go for it, yeah. And if you just fiddle with the buttons, make sure it's all nice.
Got to just sort of, as if you're fixing your bow tie as well. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Love it.
Done that before?
Yeah, man. Have you been practicing in your bedroom mirror? I've moved over to bridal prep now for the final moments. I want to get as much footage as possible of their daughter here, especially as she's dressed up perfectly in her outfit. With young children, it's really hard to predict how long their outfit is going to be kept in such pristine condition, so I'm taking the chance now to make sure that those moments are captured and we have that footage in the bag of her looking exactly how the bride and groom wanted her to. Maybe a bit higher actually, because it's going to be quite heavy. Go through it and then back it, yeah? That makes sense? You can guarantee at every wedding at some point the groom and groomsmen are going to be struggling with the buttonholes. So I usually do one of them for them and show them how it's done, and then they can do the rest of them themselves and I can get the footage of it happening.
Just a bit higher up where the crinkly piece of the stem is as you go.
Well, maybe then. Maybe if we put, what do you reckon, Dan, over here? So if you're this way then, dude, and then...
Yeah, and we'll get it to be put here.
Yes.
So,
So at this point, we're about to do the groom and daughter first look, and I've got the edit in my mind at this point. So I want to capture some footage of him nervously waiting, so I know I can cut between that and then the shot of the daughter coming to see him. I don't think I've put shoes on properly. This is another example of a moment I'm going to want to have good coverage of for the film, so I'm making sure I'm moving myself to get those variety of angles to cut between for that sequence in the edit. So, bride's getting in her dress, so we've made ourselves sparse, obviously we don't want to be in there while she's getting changed. She's going to give us a shout, the last bit's just kind of the buttoning up, that's the shot we want. So in the meantime I've just come outside just to get some of the guests mingling. So many spaces still not set up, I'm just assuming they're waiting to the very last minute to put it up. Because I want the chairs to be out. If the chairs were out, I'd go and put my cameras up now for the ceremony space, but it's not worth doing that until I know exactly how it's laid out. So in a couple of minutes we'll be getting a call to the bride to get the last bits of the dress. Then she's going to be doing a first look with her granddad who's taken her down the aisle. So yeah, it's going to get very hectic in a couple of minutes. So I'd like to get my ceremony set up pretty soon. I'm assuming I'm going to have to do that whilst the registrar is having an interview with the bride. Are we? Can we? Is that all right by the light? Again, this is a key moment of the day that I'm going to want to have good coverage of and lots of variety of angles. But the first thing I wanted to ensure was that we're in good light. So I've just asked if we can move over towards the window where we've got some nice light coming in from these big windows. This will make a huge difference to the quality of the final footage. Can you turn your face a little bit this way, but then kind of like look at that set, beautiful. Yeah. Where's Mummy?
Give Mummy a kiss. Kisses and cuddles. Give Mummy a cuddle.
And if I can get you kind of like looking kind of here, Olivia, kind of like there, so I can see, yeah, I'm going to be shooting from behind, but I just want to see a bit more of you. Maybe kind of down here, actually, yeah. Can you move your hair's covering your face a little bit? Just, like that's good. It coming down's nice, but yeah. Alright, so if you look down at your flowers for a second, Olivia, then back into that position that you were looking a second ago, and then straight up to me. Beautiful. So the 55mm stays on my camera for the majority of the day. But on the occasions where I need something a little bit wider, I usually use my 35mm, which I keep on my satchel, which is on me throughout the day. Okay. So if I can get you to look towards the window a bit more, so the window light's on you. Beautiful. And if you look down at your flowers for me. So then out the window again. So close up with your flowers. I'm going to get one more from behind you. Okay, if you look to your right hand side, Olivia, just so I can see a bit more of the side of the face, yeah. Gorgeous. Lovely, thank you. Cool, I got it done, thanks mate. So here the bride is going to do a reveal to her granddad who is taking her down the aisle. So for this I've just started with a shot of the granddad and I'm going to move my camera up to the bride and then switch positions when they greet each other at the bottom. Once again shooting in 50 frames a second so I can slow it down to make the moment look a little bit more seamless in the edit. So it's ceremony time. I need to quickly get everything set up. We've just done reveal to Grandad. She's having her meeting now, so that probably gives me 5-10 minutes to get everything set up for the ceremony. So yes, gonna get on it. So I'm setting this one up on auto ISO in case the light changes during the ceremony. And I'm just using the exposure compensation to dial it in. Ceremony, green ceremony. Mate, can I put the mic on you? Is that okay? Can you just point me in the direction of who's giving speeches? Sorry, readings. Joseph. Lovely, thank you very much. You're the one helping out with all the buttonholes on, aren't you? Professional wedding guy. Josephine. Joseph, I'm just going to put this in your pocket. Is that all right, mate? It's just when you give the reading. Let's have a little look. Thank you very much. Was it Helen? How you doing, Helen? You all right? Helen reading. Can you attach this to your dress for me? If you just clip it so that the main bit gets hidden and that bit's like that. Is that all right? Thank you ever so much. So, check out my monopod. Super fast to adjust. So, I'm going to be roaming on this camera on my 55mm using the monopod. We're getting the groom's reaction as he turns around to see her. And then, with this it says it's freestanding. Once this is in place, I can then go around to make sure my other cameras are okay. Registrar's mic, I've got a little wing cover on it just in case it's going to be windy in the outdoor setting. I'm going to get this going now. Registrar ceremony. Then I can just quickly click that on her when she arrives. So what are you thinking, mate? I guess this is the angle, right? As she comes down.
Something from around here, yeah.
Yeah.
I might just shuffle around depending on exactly where he stands
Yeah.
and where the registrar stands. But I think this is, yeah, somewhere here. It's got
Yeah. It's hard to know, really. I'm just going to, once she starts moving, I guess I'll follow your lead and I'll try and be near you so I'm not in your way. Orchestra.
Me when she's there.
Right, okay.
Do you want me to sort of like move out the way?
So kind of,
Do you want me to just come and step here?
I think so. Yeah, I think that'd be nice, yeah. And then you can tap, yeah. How you feeling?
Nervous?
Good man. That means it's important.
That's right.
Once you're here and you're holding hands and that, it makes sense. It's just, yeah. Who's giving can I please attach my recorder to you? Is that okay?
Can you put it to the book? Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm going to hold a book. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Will you be going? If it attaches to your lapel, it won't be noisy. Is that all right? Oh, thank you. You're my favourite. So this was my initial setup for the ceremony. My A cam is on my monopod, and I'm using this to focus on the bride coming down the aisle. I then have my B cam. I set this initially in this position here. My thought process was that I would be able to capture a nice clean shot of the groom once he's facing the bride. But as you can see, it's not quite the best composition. But the beauty of having a monopod that can stand on its own means I can leave it briefly unmanned and move over to my other cameras mid-ceremony to adjust them to how I need them to be. My C cam is set up as a wide shot of the entire ceremony. This is a vital shot to have, especially as a solo shooter, because it gives you that freedom to move around to different cameras, because you have coverage of the entire event to cut back to at any moment during the edit. Once the bride and groom were in position at the top of the aisle, I was able to move my cameras to make sure I had the best coverage of the event. My A cam was set as a shot of the bride, and my B cam was repositioned so it had the reverse shot of the groom, and my C cam remained exactly where it was, a wide shot of the entire event. Well done, mate, that was brilliant. Can I just steal the microphone off you? Is that alright? Well read. So I'm going to pack away now while they're signing the register, so I'm good to go. Especially with it being outdoors, don't want to be leaving my cameras out. I don't bother, mate, no.
They're going to do like a
Dip kiss.
on the.
Where are you going to go for down the aisle?
When I do this signing, I'm going to ask if they're going to do it up that path or if they're planning
Yes.
to do it centrally so we know where to go.
Yes, perfect. Cheers, Dan. Yeah, sound, mate. With my equipment packed away, I always film the couple coming back down the aisle handheld. I stay stationary for as long as possible, allowing the couple to walk towards me, and then I just move out of the way at the last moment. This would be the point where I fade to black during the ceremony film. It's really helpful to capture these transition moments where people are moving from one place to the next during the wedding. They're really useful in the edit to show the change in location and time. For the confetti, similar to the walking down the aisle shot, I like to be stationary for as long as possible, allowing the couple to walk towards me.
Now is like a key moment to try and get as many shots of guests as possible as they start milling around, especially as we're outside and nice even light, to be fair. So I'm going to get in amongst it and try and get as many shots as I possibly can.
Hold hands. Hold hands. That's it.
So we've moved on to the couple's portrait section of the day, and for these I like to capture lots of movement. I always like to make sure that the photographer has got what they need first before I give any direction, but as the couple walk between the different portrait locations, that's a great opportunity to grab some natural footage of them walking together.
Get a kiss. Pause and leave for a kiss.
Oh, that was good. That was so good. And just look at each other for a second. So I'm just going to give you flowers so you can walk back.
Here I am getting some detailed shots of the wedding breakfast room. I always like to make sure I find time in the day to get in there before the guests enter the room and capture all the details of the table and room setup. The photographer is now doing the group portraits, and I like to be nearby when this is happening because it's the one time other than the ceremony when you can guarantee all the key members of the wedding are going to be in the same place at the same time. I get some shots of the group shots, but I also make sure that I'm capturing what's going on around me and the interactions between the people that are there, because that makes for much more interesting footage. At this point the guests were being sat down for the meal, and it was a great opportunity to grab the bride and groom again for a couple more portrait shots.
Working on this, is that alright? If you just walk there and then just come back this way, just so I can get the building behind you. Yeah. So I'm just going to get you come back this way, but looking at one another if you could. And if you stop there 1 second, you can get a different angle. And 3, 2, 1, keep going and look at each other as you walk. Perfect. I'm good. Well done, guys.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a drone now. Everyone's sat down for the meal, so it's perfect time for me to get the drone out. Normally I'd do this to start the day, but we just didn't have a chance. It was such a tight schedule. So now it's just as good. So we'll just get it up in the air, obviously, and kind of do a semicircle of the venue, then catch up some of the other surrounding fields and just get some nice establishing shots basically. Sun's come out, perfect. So here are a selection of the drone shots that I got. I like just to get a little bit of variation from around the venue and different fields and surrounding area, just to give a sense of the space for the film. So I've got safety cam with a 35mm on the back, getting the whole room. I'm going to put a reaction camera here, off to the side of the bride and groom. I'm going to put it in this spot because the speakers are all on this side, so they're going to be looking this way, so this should get their faces as they look at them. When setting up my unmanned cameras, I use my autofocus to lock onto the people that I want in focus, and then switch it to manual so that it doesn't change throughout the course of the speech. Perfect thing in the world, mate. Right. Okay. You're giving a speech, aren't you, pal? Yes. Best man speech, best man speech. So I'm going to put that in your pocket there. And Robbie, can I come to you, pal?
And my mum.
Yes, you need one as well, yeah. Green speech, green speech. Hide your tag.
Thank you.
Is that alright?
Yeah.
Can you clip this on yourself for me? Is that alright? Yeah. So, do you want me to just do it? Mother bride speech, mother bride speech. Okay, lean this way a little bit. There you go. Thank you very much. So this was my setup for the speeches. My A cam is focused solely on the person giving the speech. My B cam is set up as a reaction shot of the couple. And my C cam again is a safety wide shot of the entire room, which I can cut back to at any point if I need to move any of the other cameras during the speeches. Right, so we're going to scout out now for a possible sunset portrait session. So I think here in these gardens that are hidden out the back would be a good spot. But we're just going to track where we think the sun will be at a certain time. I use the Lumos app, and like with the augmented reality on it, we can literally see where it will be. So from like 7:30 to 8 would be perfect time, which is quite close to first dance. But if we keep an eye on that and come out at that time, I think we should get some nice light just coming through these trees here. And if we just get them for a little walk, just 5-10 minutes, we'll get some great footage. So keep an eye on that, and then when it's time, we'll go grab the couple.
Hold it, hold it, hold it. Hold it. Stay. Change direction.
Shoes are wet. I'm in my feet. Game over, man. Yeah, so we're getting the light set up ready for the first dance. I'm going to have 2 LED panels. I'm going to put one over this side, shoot across, and then directly opposite as well. I'm going to have another one shooting across. I mainly like to shoot into the lights. So in an ideal situation, I'd have the lights in both corners and I'd shoot into them.
but all the guests are going to be coming in from that side there. So if I have a light over there, I get knocked. So the second best option is to have that light in that corner and then shoot across the dance floor. Give me decent coverage. So for the first dance, can those ones be off just for the first dance?
I can hang those bang.
Yeah?
Will that help you?
Yeah, that'd be, yeah, perfect. Yeah. Cool. And then that's white, isn't it, on the walls? Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Good Lord.
Yes, if you have what you want. But no, white.
White would be banging. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Brilliant. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
So I always make sure to chat with the DJ before the first dance just to see what their lighting situation is going to be. In this instance, I asked if the DJ could keep his lights down during the first dance, just so I can retain the natural skin tones. Once the first dance is over and the party starts, I get myself in amongst it on the dance floor to capture a lot of variety of people enjoying the party. Not long after the first dance, we had an incredible sunset, and because we were tracking it from looking at the app earlier on in the day, we had already asked the couple if they'd be happy to go out at this time to get some great footage in the golden light.
Can I just get a couple of quick ones down while I'm here, is that alright? So if you squeeze in tight to one another, guys. Yeah. Squeeze in, that's it. I want you to look at each other, forget we're here. And do you know before when I had you kind of like rocking gently, so if you kind of like very slightly, just so just a bit of movement for the video and you'll pop in and out of that light behind you. And if you raise your left hand a little bit on him, beautiful.
I have a specific way that I like to shoot golden hour. I like to have the couple with the sun directly behind them, and then if I can get them gently moving or swaying, it really creates some dynamic footage.
Just keep doing what you're doing, brilliant. It's lovely, isn't it? This is just the dream right now. This is like absolutely perfect. If you wait a couple of more seconds and it'll pop out again and it'll just look amazing. That's it. That's great. Do you know when you put your heads together slightly earlier, just like gently, that's great. Then pull away from each other a little bit so your heads aren't too close. That's cool. Sorry, Dan, am I?
No, it's all right.
Gorgeous.
I'm sure you've not done this before.
So here we are doing the sparkler shot, and our approach is very similar to the confetti. I like to stay stationary for as long as possible and allow the couple to walk towards me, then repositioning when they get too close. Ideally I like to shoot through the sparklers so I can get some interesting foreground bokeh, but sparkler exits can be quite chaotic, so you just have to roll with the punches and capture the best footage possible. After the sparklers, I headed back into the venue to capture a bit more of the party. Here's a compilation of some of the dance floor shots that I caught.
Okay, yeah, so it's the end of the day. Great day today. The weather was on and off, but it kind of, just the timing of it, everything just worked out perfectly. It was dry enough for an outdoor ceremony, we could get them out for portraits, and we even had a nice golden hour later on. So now it's okay, I'll get home, get everything backed up and ready for tomorrow's wedding.